Hello there, and welcome to a presentation on fixing the HOA solar panel problem in Indiana. My name is Joey Miles, and I live in Indianapolis, Indiana. Solar panels are not new. They have been around for decades and are becoming more common and cost-effective to install each year. So why am I making this presentation? Well, unfortunately, even with the increasing availability of solar power, one significant barrier to installing residential solar panels continues to be the rejection by many homeowners associations, or HOAs, all across the country. And since I live in Indiana, I'd like to talk to you today about how we can and must address this problem right here in the Hoosier State. I'll be talking to you today about two homeowner stories and the experiences each homeowner had with their HOA, and then describe the two types of HOA restrictions. Next, I'll dive into the Texas HOA solar law and explain why this legislation is so critically important for our state. Finally, I'll wrap up by providing some contact information, telling you how you can get involved, asking some questions, and addressing the next steps in the campaign. The first homeowner story is straightforward, yet the most important example that I want to highlight. Dustin Holt is a homeowner in Franklin Township, Indianapolis, and he wanted to install solar panels on his roof. However, his HOA has a total prohibition on solar, so he was unable to install the panels. The second homeowner example is my own. In November 2016, my wife Sarah and I completed construction of our new home in Franklin Township, Indianapolis. The HOA covenants in our neighborhood allow solar panels, and since we plan to be in this home for the next 25 to 30 years, it was a no-brainer to me to get these installed. I took the house photo from the street and note from the caption that the front of the house faces south. My HOA allows solar panels, but severely limits where you can put them. I wanted to put the solar panels on the south part of the roof because that area receives the most sunlight. However, I encountered stiff resistance from my HOA due to the resulting street view the south-facing panels would have. Based on the electricity usage of our previous home, my solar panel contractor estimated we would produce 112% of our energy needs with the south-facing system. I did receive HOA approval to install solar panels on the north and partially the west sides of our home, resulting in much less efficiency, down to 48% of our needs. I went with this because I figured something is better than nothing. Notice how much shade there is on the 23 north panels. While this photo was taken in December, the month with the least sunlight, this photo was taken at about 3 p.m., one of the highest points of the day for sunlight. There are two types of HOA restrictions on solar. The first is a total prohibition, where the HOA simply states that solar panels will not be allowed. Period. This was Dustin's example. The second is the unreasonable restrictions by HOA architectural review committees, where there is no specific objective criteria. As an example, my HOA only had one sentence in the covenants and it did not state what would be approved. Also included in the second restriction are prohibitions on roof installations and demands that solar panels be kept out of view. Both of these restrictions are rooted in common HOA tenets: preserving property values and aesthetics, even though studies have shown that solar panels actually increase property values. Here's a chart that shows the pervasiveness of this problem in central Indiana. As you can see, 138 of the 381 HOAs require the Architectural Review Committee's approval. This is not a bad thing, as HOAs should have input in approving installations. However, we found that guidance in HOA covenants are rarely clear, specific, and most importantly, reasonable. Also, 130 of the HOAs we looked at have an absolute prohibition. You can also see that Marion County is the county with the most prohibitions at 149. Fortunately, there is a law in Texas that addresses this issue very well. Texas law states that HOAs cannot prohibit or restrict installation of solar energy devices except in certain cases. And while there are many certain cases, the modern way of installing solar panels makes it easy to avoid these cases. I won't read these verbatim to you, but essentially, HOAs can regulate solar panels that threaten health and safety or are unlawful, are located on property owned and maintained by the HOA, or are not located on your roof, patio, or yard. The most traditional type of residential solar panel installation is rooftop solar, so you can see where these conditions should not be applicable. Now, there are some very specific circumstances where an HOA in Texas could regulate your rooftop or patio solar panels. I want to draw your attention to 5B. If you've received approval by your HOA to install solar panels, but a more optimal location on your roof would increase efficiency by more than 10%, the HOA cannot restrict you from installing the panels in the optimal location. If this law had been in effect in Indiana at the time my HOA approved my panels, I would have been able to put them on the south roof despite HOA objection. And regarding the last bullet, your immediate neighbors must not object to the panels. My neighbors welcomed the panels and were discouraged at the HOA's decision. Why is this legislation important for Indiana? While it may seem obvious, given the nature of solar power and the language in the Texas law, I still felt it important to include some of the key benefits here. Number 1, energy freedom and choice. And then, taking responsibility for your own energy future. It's a matter of independence. Economically, solar energy allows you to hedge against future increases in electric utility costs, and Indiana offers a property tax deduction that prevents your solar panels from increasing the assessed value of your home. Finally, this law would provide a check and balance on the powers of HOAs in Indiana. Here's my contact information and also the contact information for Laura Arnold with the Indiana Distributed Energy Alliance, or Indiana DG for short. Laura has been working on solar legislation issues in Indiana for over 30 years and is really spearheading this issue. To join our campaign, please visit the website listed here or contact Laura. Questions for you. Have you been denied by your HOA to install solar, or do you know someone who has? Do you want to install solar but your HOA has an absolute prohibition? If either of these apply, you are exactly the person we are targeting and want to recruit for this campaign. Senate Bill 500 is the bill in Indiana that will correct this problem. On February 16th, the bill passed the Indiana Senate and has been referred to the Indiana House Judiciary Committee, where we soon hope to receive a committee hearing. To keep up to date on Senate Bill 500's status, go to the website here. Here's how you can help. Join Indiana DG, and then I want you to ask your Indiana House representative to support Senate Bill 500 introduced by Senator Aaron Freeman. Together, with your help, we'll get Indiana on the right track with HOAs and solar power. Thanks for listening.